Welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today is Nate Banks and his two daughters from Soup City, Denver, and Dazoni Pollitt. I want to welcome you on Living in the 21st Century this morning.
Thank you, and thanks for having us.
Beautiful.
These are actually my granddaughters.
Okay.
And my name is Nate Banks, and theirs is their last name is Pollitt, and they're called the Soup City Kids.
Nice. I like that name, Soup City Kids. Could you tell me where that came from?
Well, we're in the city of Camden, New Jersey, and Campbell Soup started here, and like everybody around here grew up on soup. So it was the perfect name for the kids, the Soup City Kids.
Oh, I see. Well, look at that. Name after a favorite brand, Campbell's brand. Well, I like the Soup City Kids. It's a beautiful name for kids. So tell me a little bit about your granddaughters, and then eventually speak to them.
Yes, well, I got tired of watching the kids dance and sing to inappropriate and rap to inappropriate movie. I'm a filmmaker myself, so I decided to make a little movie, like a little Rascals with the kids in the city. But I started watching them, the dances, the music that they were dancing to had a little too much cussing in it for me. So, my grandkids always, were asking about doing something with appropriate music, because I wouldn't allow them to dance to the music with all the cussing in it.
Right.
So that's when we decided, we was going to start doing our own thing, our own music. And Designer, you could tell them a little bit why you wanted to make, clean music.
I just wanted to make clean music so other people can, like other kids can grow up with clean music and not bad music or cursing and stuff.
Well, that's beautiful because, we live in a time where we live in such an immoral, corrupt society. And to have two young kids like yourself thinking of clean music, still effective, that is a good direction to go in. And this could be an encouragement for a lot of young kids your age. But tell me something. Where would you like to see yourself going in the future? And other kids who may potentially have the desires and ambition that you do.
Where do you see yourself going?
Me?
Yes.
I see myself going far with this.
She wants to, tell them what you want to do. She wants to act.
Act.
Oh, you want to be an actress?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything?
She wants to inspire other children. The most important to her is giving people, other kids, the opportunity to dance to good, fun music without having to listen to a bunch of profanity. That's what it's all about. Kids being kids. What is your favorite line, Denver? What's your favorite line?
Kids, kids.
You got to look into the camera, baby.
Yeah, look at the camera. Don't be shy.
Kids, kids.
Yeah. I like where you're going with this as a grandparent. We wish sometimes we have more grandparents like yourself. And when we look around the world today and we see the kind of turmoil and conflict in broken homes, and children have to be fending for themselves, just alone to be in the presence of their grandfather who can teach them and point them in the right direction, that they can build a future for themselves, I think that's a good foundation. As a parent, a grandparent, and a parent also, what gives you the inspiration to keep music clean and keep your children and grandchildren in a place where they can be safe and yet still effective to society?
It's sad because when I was coming up, we wasn't even allowed to listen to music, that had any cussing. And I remember being damn near 16 years old and trying to sneak to watch Richard Pryor and my parents catching us and having a fit. and we were 16 years old then. You know, so times have really changed a lot. You know, where the radio stations just allow anything to go on the radio, and it's inappropriate for kids. Kids need the chance to be children. They need to have a childhood. They need to have good memories. They don't need to grow up fast and dancing to music that's sexual, talks about drugs, just all the wrong things that children shouldn't even be, they shouldn't be involved with at their age. So, my thing was, if I can help it, I'm going to try to make a difference around here, in our area. So if I can help it, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this, Nate, because I grew up as a kid myself, and discipline was one of the foremost things in my community. We had to be respectable to our elders. We had cussing. Cussing is something you wouldn't just hear come out of a child's mouth. The kind of music that was played, well, in my time, we didn't have rap music or no such thing. We had strict disciplinarians as parents, so there was a guided compass that keep us in check. And even your neighbors, they even played an essential role as parents, even though they weren't your parents. And I'm glad you touched this, because beside the Soup City Kids, I can take this moment, and we both can take this moment to speak a positive word into today's modern society with parents, where they had took the wrong track and gone off in the wrong direction, and their children is now left to suffer. They're doing outrageous things. They're ending up in prison. They're getting involved in gangs, smoking drugs, and young ladies pimping their bodies out. And all these kind of things become a part of our new modern society. And I would love you to speak to these kind of people and tell them the importance of keeping focus and keeping your head on.
Right. It's very important right now. Our children are our future. And if we don't take and grab their hands right now and lead them, they're going to go right to destruction. It's no ways around it. We have to be parents. We have to lead our children. We have to discipline them. We have to teach them right from wrong. We're supposed to keep an eye on everything that they're doing, especially when it comes to the internet, because there's all kinds of things that can happen on the internet. You got people that are taking kids and using body parts, and you got, and everything is over the internet now in these days. These kids, are meeting people that we can't even imagine that they would be meeting. So, it's very important that we as parents, really look at our children and think about how we grew up. This is like a serious thing. We have to take a hold of our children. We have to.
Absolutely. There's two kind of parents I would like to look at this morning. And this is not to exclude Soup City Kids. We're going to get back to them pretty soon. There are kids who grow up in foster parents' homes, and the love and care, attention that they should actually get, they're not getting simply because the people just see the money that comes from the government. And these children need critical attention and nourishment that can point them in the right dimension. Is there a word you would like to probably speak to foster parents in terms of let it to be more than just money?
I like to speak not just to foster child parents, but all parents. Mm-hmm. Children are very valuable. They're a gift from God. We have to take care of these kids. They are the future. They're the ones that's going to run this country that we live in one day. We have to chastise them when they're little. See, I tell people all the time, if you don't chastise your streets, your children, if you don't chastise your children, the police officer and people on the street have no problem chastising them. So you have to chastise your kids. You have to teach them right from wrong. We've gotten away from everything. The kids are raising themselves now. Yes. We have to stop this. You know what I'm saying? These are valuable. God gave us these kids as gifts, and we need to take care of these kids. And we got to, wake up. I know that it's a lot harder because some parents are working 2 jobs and this and that. But you got to find a way and make a way to take care of your children. You have to watch over your children and make sure that good family members or good people are watching your children when you're not around. And you have to watch what they're watching on television and on the internet. Simple as that. We have to do these things. If we want to make a better world for tomorrow, we have to take care of our children. We have to show them the right way. Otherwise, they're going to end up in the streets or in jail, or possibly worse than that.
Absolutely. I mean, you're really giving some good, viable teachings here this morning. And one other question I want to ask you. There are some immigrant children who come to this country without their parents. In fact, they are referred to as illegal immigrant children. And it touches my heart because these kids doesn't have the time to focus on school or education. Most of the times they may be hungry. They're not in the system. They're just on the United States boundaries and they're seeking help. Here we have privileged kids that can learn to act, dance, and do all these kind of things. How would you like to see your children, your grandchildren, inspiring these kids despite of what difficult circumstances they may be experiencing right now?
Don't give up. I'm going to tell, I want my grandkids to cater, not to cater because I want them to cater to everybody, and treat everybody decently. But for those kids that are in bad positions, we got a lot of great families like the legendary families. We like to connect with different families that adopt and help children. We try to do everything that we can in our power, to help other people, because that's what it's about, love. God is a loving God, and that's what we show, love, amongst each other. So if we can just love each other and help each other every kind of way and point each other to the right direction, with people that can help. If we can't help, somebody that can help. You know what I'm saying? We'll that's what we want to do. As the Soup City Kids, we welcome everybody. We not just to listen to our music, but just being decent human beings. That's what it's all about. Making these kids decent, to grow up and be decent human beings.
Beautiful. This question goes up to Dezoni, and you can also step in to give some guidance. I know you're a young Dezoni, but I want to ask you this question. As a kid your age, how would you like to see other kids your age target their goals and start working on their goals from at this stage?
I would like to see them helping others and listening to clean music and just being kids.
Mm-hmm. And what about their schoolwork? Would you like them to be just as effective as in dancing and acting, the same very way to do this schoolwork? The importance of doing that?
Yes, I would like them to do their schoolwork and maybe go to college.
Okay. What favorite piece you like to dance to? Do you have your own creative package?
What music do I like to dance to?
Mm-hmm. Do you have your own music that you write, or you dance to other people's music?
I dance to other people's and I have my own music.
Okay. Is there any favorite dance moves you like?
No, I love all the dance moves.
No, not at this point. Okay. So Denver, you're the oldest, I believe.
Denver is the baby.
Oh, Denver is the baby?
Yes.
Oh, you're the shy one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't wait
So,
for the
so
camera.
Denver, how would you like to see some little kids your age form their own dance groups, get their own names, and start performing? Probably having some competition, have it exposed on YouTube, encouraging them to do the same thing. Or for those who like the arts, performing arts, who love to dance and sing and act, would you have anything to say to them?
Sing, have fun.
I would like them to learn, have fun, and dance and a lot of stuff. Like regular kids.
Like a regular kid.
Oh,
Okay. I like regular kids that do regular things. You know, there are some bad, difficult kids. Would you like to speak something good to them that they can turn away from doing bad things like bullying other kids at school or get involved in smoking or drinking alcohol or even playing with toy guns and those kind of things? Would you like to say something positive to them?
no.
Shit.
No?
No, she didn't. I don't think she really understood the question. Answer the question for her, Designing.
Okay. I wanted to say to the kids,
Sure.
they to just be yourselves. Don't get into a lot of things. Just say no to people if they're doing bad. If they ask you to do something bad, just say no and walk away.
Okay. Great. Renee, back to you. You know, there are some parents who have 2 and 3 jobs just trying to make ends meet to get the kids to school, buy them their school uniforms or clothing and lunch
Yes.
and so forth. And they hardly got time to spend with their children. Some of them are single parents, I must add, and it's difficult for them. What kind of advice would you have for a single parent who want her child to do the best, but just doesn't have the time to commit and be a moral guiding compass in their life? What kind of information would you like to say to that parent to keep them in a positive direction?
It's very hard out there, and I understand this. You have a lot of single women that that are doing this alone, and yes, it's hard because have the responsibility of paying all your bills, so you have to work. Your children are in, you try to keep them in school, and only thing I could say is try to get family members, or you need help. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have help, you have to you get very close with the schools. A lot of these schools have after school programs. You have to keep them. They have to be around people that are going to actually watch them. You cannot just leave them in the house. Because you're working. You have to make a way. Rather, you find a good friend, because it definitely have to be a good friend when you trust them with your children. A good friend or a relative. Someone has to be around. And to help with these children. And if you, like I said, if you can't get help, you need to seek help from the schools. The best thing is to talk to the people at the schools, because they have all kinds of programs that you can put your children in.
That's great. Most of the times we speak about single parents, we often refer to as a mom. She ends up most of the times being the single parent. Is there an encouraging word to dads? I mean,
Well, I went through the situation with raising, so I understand raising one of my children by myself. So I understand, that it's hard, but I took my son to work with me. I did all kinds, but I was fortunate enough to have a job I could do that with. But I made sure that he was with a grandmother, or he was with an aunt, or he was with somebody when I was working, when there was times that he couldn't go with me, or we didn't have I didn't have anywhere for him to go. I made sure that it was a family member or a good friend that I let him stay with while I was at work doing what I had to do to provide. So I understand. Well, there's where is a will is a way. Best believe you can find a way. To make sure that your child has the proper guidance. You just gotta want to. It might be a little extra work, but you can do it.
Yes. Do you think fathers today should play a more effective role, especially when there's just a mom, not a married couple, let's say it's sharing responsibility, but some fathers just get the woman pregnant and just run off on their own, and there's a struggling mother. What would you say to a father like that, actually?
A father plays a big role, and I don't even understand a man that can walk away from his children. To be honest with you, I have 7 children, and I love them all dearly. And I was involved with each one of my kids' life. Rather I was with the mother or not. My kids and I have a very close relationship. As a father, we're the one that guide them and teach them. And you want your daughters to want a man that's like their father. You want your sons to be like their father. So the father teaches the right from wrong. He teaches the respect. He leads the household. And that's what, is so important for men, to stay involved with their children's lives, because we as parents don't realize the effect that we have on children and what their life can turn out without the proper, guidance from parents, mothers and fathers. It's very important. It's very important that you stay in your child's life and you guide them and you give them the best education, the best, just being the best parenting that's possible for you. It's very important.
Okay. Do you think the fathers today in this 21st century are different to the fathers, let's say, in you and my time growing up?
Much different, much different. You got to understand, and I understand, you had, since we came up, a lot of drugs that came into society, where it destroyed the parenthood, and it destroyed the families. So the families are, you can't, like, you got 3 generations out there that raised themselves. So if they don't know love, or if they wasn't raised with a mother or a father, somebody missing out, how can they teach their children? So it's very different. And it's like, that's why you got to grab these babies while they're young and teach them right from wrong, because you got 3 generations out there that really, didn't have the nourishing that we had at my age coming up. We had a mother and father that cared about us and taught us right from wrong. You got generations out there that was fighting just to eat. You know what I'm saying? They were raising themselves.
Beautiful. Well, Nate, I mean, we're coming up on the last 2 minutes of our program, and I want to thank the Soup City Kids for coming on today.
Thank you.
And I want to give you the final word of advice to parenting and bringing children up in the right direction. And I give that minute to you to do so.
Well, all I can say, your children are your future. You must love, nourish, and take care of your children. You must watch over them and guide them. That's the most important thing you can do for these kids, because one day they will be the kids that will lead this world that we live in. And if you don't teach them the right things, you're only going to get back what you put into them. So imagine what you put into them. That's what you're going to get back out of them when they become adults. So if you put great things into them, you're going to get great things. If you put nothing into them, you're not going to get anything. And that's just the bottom line. Our children are our future. We must love and take care of them. And I just hope everybody hears what I'm saying. and think about your children, because they're a gift from God, and we have to just love on them and take care of them, and they'll do the same thing to their children, but they have to see it come from us in order for them to do it to their own. And I appreciate, everybody, that's listening to us. I hope you all follow the Soup City Kids on all platforms, on Facebook and Instagram.
TikTok, just every social media.
Yeah, under
Okay.
Denver Designing and Soup City Kids. Denver Designing and Soup City Kids.
Okay. Well, Nate Banks, I want to thank you. Denver and Dezoni, I want to thank you both for coming on. The Soup City Kids. And for all those who have been tuning in on Living in the 21st Century, have an enjoyable day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.